All right, here we are. We're getting started on our next challenge. Is it called a challenge? I don't know if it's called a challenge. I think this is just going to be our next series, which is going to be build a doodle, right? And basically what that means is we're going to start with the very basics, and then we're going to build on it throughout the week. You will get, of course, videos Monday through Friday on this series. The Monday through Thursday are going to be a little bit shorter videos, with the Friday being a little bit more extended, and then we can go through all of the things that we've learned and kind of put it together and have it make sense for you, and that's my goal. Okay, so let's go through the supplies and what I have made so far. So this paper here is an Arteza Expert paper. It actually has both a smooth side and a textured side. This is a watercolor paper. It does say that it is cold press, even though it does have some smooth paper on it. It's a dual-sided, acid-free, glue-bound, ideal for watercolor techniques and mixed media. Do you have to use this type of paper? It's the first question. No, you absolutely do not have to use watercolor paper. I would suggest using a smooth or a hot press paper. And how do you know the difference between hot press and cold press? Cold press is going to have bumpies. Hot press, think about an iron. An iron makes things not wrinkled, right? So hot press, ironed pressed, right? So that's a good reminder that if you're looking for a specific type of paper or watercolor paper, that hot press is the way you want to go. If you don't want to use watercolor paper, what else could you use? You could use copy paper, truly. The thing with copy paper, though, is it doesn't stand quite up to the watercolors that we'll be using. It'll be a little bit wrinkly, but it's really not going to be that bad, so you could truly use it. Same with a scrapbook paper that has white on one side and your colored paper on the other. Try it out, see how it works. You could easily use that. Any mixed media paper will probably work just fine for that. So something that you would have bound in a notebook that says mixed media, or Bristol paper would probably work. Again, we're looking for the smooth surface. The reason for the smooth surface over the bumpy surface is the fact that the bumpy surface, the cold press, absorbs really well, which is why it's ideal for watercolor. But what it will do is it will also absorb all of the ink out of your pens, all of the ink out of your brushes. So like, brushes, it's the wrong word, but it's kind of the right word. So like your micron pens, which I was one of the tools that I ordered. Micron pens are a felt tip pen, right? So if you use something that's an absorbent paper, like a cold press paper with the bumps, it will just soak right in and it will kill your pens faster. Also, micron pens are a felt tip pen, and it will chew up your felt tips. Right? This is all info from Kat, by the way. She's worked with this a lot more than I have. I haven't pulled out my watercolors since college, for the most part. So I am looking forward to trying out not only watercolors, but all sorts of different mediums through this process. So we're not going to limit ourselves just to watercolors, which is super cool. Also, gel pens on the bumpy papers can sometimes skip. So the smoother your paper, generally the better. You can try copy paper, see if it works. Try scrapbook paper with the white back, see how it works. But a mixed media or a little bit heavier paper would be ideal. What do you do with it once you have your paper? Okay, so this was 14 inches wide. This is 11 inches wide. Like, geez. Stop. Sorry. It's 11 inches wide. When you fold it in half, it is 5.5 inches, right? So my favorite book size is 8 by 5.5, 8 by 5. That's kind of my favorite size to work in. So I went ahead and chose to make little signatures that are very, very similar in size to what I'm already used to. So I took Swoopy and I cut my paper at 8 inches tall and I folded it in half. I did. Swoopy's a good boy. It's pretty awesome. And then I took this special duty foldy thingy. That's a technical term. It's the foldy thingy. And this is a Martha Stewart one, of course. Oh, my bone folder. Well, why did you fall out? Well, I don't even know what that is. Looks like a sticker of some sort. I'm supposed to put that sticker on. You take your foldy thingy and you run it through your paper. Now, have your smooth side up. Have the side you want to work on up. And then you run it through. I did it at my 5.5 mark a couple times. With that heavy of paper, I got a couple of them that are off track. No big deal. No big deal. And then you take the part that is the round size, and so here, I'll do it for you real quick like this because, you know, it's like that, and then we take the 5.5 and we make the impression there. I did it a couple times because that's just kind of the person I am. Depending on the weight of the paper, you might, you know, be careful you don't go through your paper. Now, this is the indent side. This is the raised side. Okay, that's the side that has that's the part, the raised side is actually what goes in the fold. And then I take my happy little bony folder thingy and I just go squish, squish, squish. And I do rest it on my just for display purposes only. I don't usually do that. So then you have a really nice and you have a really nice piece of paper ready to go. So I would put 5 of those together, but of the 8 by 5.5. Now I'm not going to get rid of these because these are a perfect size. What size are these? 5 by 5? They are 5.5 by 5.5. Oh, by 5.5 by 6. Perfect size. We will do something more with these for sure. Don't ever get rid of that nice of paper. But I did put 5 pieces together, and I did just put a rubber band in it like you would with a travel journal, because I want to be able to decide what I want to do with these later. Right? I did think about putting holes through them and making it actually like a signature. But I don't know if that's what I want to do with it yet. I might actually want to do, like, cut out these pieces. So I wasn't going to go through all that process until I know for sure. And I went through and I made quite a few of these. And here's the one that I'm currently working on. Now, we're going to be building on our basics. That's my goal. Unless everybody hates it, then we won't do it anymore. But I think it'll be a fun project. I think. So we're going to come down to the table, and I'll just show you how I made these cool little circles. We are not looking for perfect circles. We are looking for color and for fun and for something interesting. You could just do plain old blah circles, but they're kind of boring. So let's do something fun with our circles and with our shape making. And they don't have to be perfect. In fact, I would prefer that they're not, because that's more interesting too, right? We're not in geometry, so we don't have to have perfect circles. This is a really nice pad of paper. I did have this as a suggestion. It was like $32 for 2 pads together. It's a whole lot of paper. You do not have to spend that much money on the paper, but for a higher quality paper, it was really a good deal. And yeah, the paper so far is ending up being pretty nice. I did purchase also some Winsor & Newton paints. These are the Cotman watercolors. This has they're tiny, but it has a really nice set. Lemon yellow, cad yellow, medium I think it is, cad orange, alizarin crimson, which goes in place of our quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, Prussian blue, viridian green, sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and raw umber, and white. So this is I think it was $22 for this set. Now, do you have to get this set? No, you don't. You don't. Use whatever you have for watercolors. If you just have, a student grade watercolor set, just use that. And if you end up wanting to use more later or get something better later, go for it. However, this is a super nice set. I'm loving the colors. I love the intensity of the colors that this set gives. It was one of the highest rated mid-level, this is not professional grade paint, but it was one of the highest rated paints. So I'm enjoying the colors for sure. I do have watercolor paints that are in the tubes, but I bought them like 5 years ago, and they're really hard to open up, and I don't have the right. Yeah, tubes are cool. They're more expensive. They are they're nice. They're definitely nice, and that's what I used in art school. So it's kind of a little different for me to use a pan set. These have this pocket set has really Skechers pocket box. Really nice combination of colors. I did purchase a couple other watercolor. The Derwent ink tints are a water soluble pencil. Looking forward to trying that. I also did get the Neo Color 2, which is a water-soluble crayon. Now, when I talked to Kat about these, though, she said that they are hard to do any line work over the top of. So we're going to play and experiment with different mediums, with different papers. Well, I'm going to use this paper, but feel free to try whatever you want to try. I did purchase some new brushes, but I think I'm actually going to send them back. With this one, I used mainly my Princeton Synthetic, which is a great brush. And then I did use a little bit smaller brush just to give me some variety. And some of the smaller, ones are these little, you get a different texture with each one. So play with different brushes, see what works well together. We're going to go down to the table. I'm going to show you how I do these little circles. And now I did both sides. I don't think I would necessarily suggest for you to do both sides. I did both sides because that's just kind of how I am. The thing is that if I end up wanting to use any of these, I'm going to have something on the back, so that might not be beneficial. What can we do with these if we like something that we've done with the project that I've got coming up? And this week we're going to work on basic line work and shape work and maybe some borders if we have time to put it in there. So if we just do it one-sided, then you don't have to worry about cutting through something on the other side. These can also, these signatures can be put into a book itself, right? So if you have only one side done, then you can use the other side for verses or words or whatever. We're going to play with this. These are going to be practice, but they're also going to be practical use. And then when we get to our Fridays, we're going to have a bigger page that we put all of this into practice with, hopefully. We're building every day. We're building a doodle a day, and we're going to build from the basic with each subject that we're going to choose for you. We're going to kind of start basic and easy, and we're going to build up on it, and it'll help you to not have any fear about it and to give yourself permission to learn. We're going to give yourself permission to try, and I hope that you join me on this journey. I hope that you're excited about it, because these can be ephemera, these can be stickers, these can be elements that you use in your book. I mean, you could take a hole punch and take out these, 6, whatever. You can take out, there's going to be uses for what we're doing, right? It's very exciting. And I really do hope you guys love it. Let's get down to the table. I will show you how we do these little guys. And then starting on Monday, or no, let's see, starting August 1st. I don't want to start on Monday because then we're still doing the 30 times 3, because that's just 2 days from now. Today's Saturday for me. Starting August 1st, you can't start August 1st. I'll have to figure that out. Anyways, find yourself some good paper and find yourself some watercolor paint, and let's paint some circles up. Let's get down to the table and then we will be all ready to go for day one. Okay, here we go. Bye. Okay, so I've done some in here. I'm still thinking about how I want to do this. I'm not really sure until I get into it. I do want to show you this real quick on how we load our brush up with water. I have put, the cleaner your water is, the better off it is for your paint. Yeah, it's a little bit green now. I should go and rinse it out, honestly, because it does contaminate the paints, whatever pigment that you have in your water will contaminate. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now because I'm not doing like sunflowers. If I was doing my sunflowers or something like that, yes, I would be very, very cautious about it. As you can see, that little bit of blue-green that was in there has changed that color from that bright sunshine yellow to kind of a greenish yellow. So when we're here, I'm going to bring you up just a little bit further. To load our brush with water before we go into the pigment, you take it to the side of the cup. To the side of the cup. You dip in the top bristles. Okay, the only time that we go in and completely dunk our brush is if we are cleaning it out, right? But to pull color for application, you get a little bit in there. It's loaded, you know, there's still drips in there. Not a ton though. We don't want to add too much water to dilute it too much. So then what I've just kind of done is I've gone in and see how loaded up that is? It's loading the brush with paint. And then I'm just making circles with them. Why? Why am I making circles? Well, for what we're doing, so then I just pulled in there. What we're doing is we want to first practice with some circle shapes. And I do not want perfect circles. I want interesting, fun, and cool circles. So I'm just kind of reloading a little extra paint in there. On the corner of the brush. Do I mind that did that? Not at all. In fact, I kind of dig it. Let's pull in a little bit of the blue. So remember, we have a ton of paint left on here. Do you have to do it this way? No. Go in. Do whatever feels the most comfortable for you guys. This is just kind of how I like to play. See, now we've got some yellow in here with that blue, so we're going to get some... maybe some browner tones. Hard to say what's going to happen. Let's pull a little bit of that red with that and see what happens with our phthalo and our alizarin crimson. So right now I'm just kind of playing with color. And then let's go here. And if these run, I'm fine with that. So here we've got a little bit finer brush. We're looking to make like 1.5 to 2 inch circles. There's no rocket science here with this, guys. It's just adding color, letting the color be, seeing what you can make, trying to make different colors, different color combinations, see what they do together. This is playing with paint. But we're going to make something cool out of it too, so it's not like we're wasting time, we're not wasting our energy, we're just having fun. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't care if you get splatters on it. In fact, put more splatters on it. That's cool with me. Ooh, we got brown. Why did we get brown? Because we went from orange to green, green to orange. Gives you brown. Now this paper is seeming to peel up here a little bit. And that's because I'm using the hot press side, maybe. Maybe it's not at all. It's kind of hard to tell. This paper has an interesting texture to it. Each paper is different. Generally, the more expensive the paper, the better it is. Hate to say that. We don't need to have super great paper for this. Any paper will work. Again, your copy paper is going to buckle more though, right? So I'm just adding some different colors in here. What other color would look good with this yellow ochre? Yellow ochre, let's try some orange, pull it in there. See what it does. Let it be. Nice happy little paint. So yeah, that one's pretty cool. I love that one. Look how transparent that became. That looks like a bubble. I love all of those actually. Those became pretty cool. Some of them you'll like more than others. And then even if you take something like this, it'll leave a texture behind as you pull it up. We're good with texture. We're good with intentional texture. I mean, that's great. And rockets. It reminds me of Face of the Moon type of thing. Yeah, we got a little overspill there. Oh my gosh. It's all good because these are just kind of our little base pieces. We'll be doing some cool things on top of it. Well, one color is kind of boring, isn't it? Let's pull in some blue. Ultramarine and alizarin, they're both in the blue shades. They like each other. I'm gonna go back to this guy because I was getting some cool results with that. Always have, when you're using watercolor, always have a rag to kind of get some of that paint off too, or water off, or whatever you need to do. I dig those circles. We're gonna pull in a little blue with that. So there, that orange with that blue makes this brown. That's okay. We're all good with that. Okay, you just do, like, here's the brown, or that's burnt umber. No, sorry. That was raw sienna. That's burnt umber. But you want brown. There's your brown. Plop. I like that very expressionistic little circle. So, I do want you to make more than one signature. If you want to bind it, you can. We are going to do something with it later, though. So that's completely up to you. See, let's try some alizarin crimson. That yellow, see what it does. I'm putting different colors together, learning how they work and react. The more water that you add to this, the more things will happen. I like that little brown one down there. So, where could you use that little brown circle? It'd be great to have some sort of little thing over the top of it. In fact, I'm going to do another one. So we're just making some circles for now. We're going to come back and start playing with these circles soon. All right, so as I dipped in each one, I just kind of contaminated one to the next, didn't I? I did. Do I have, am I worried? I'm not worried. I'm gonna do one more. I guess I'll just do circles on this book, and then I do have extra paper, So the future projects, the Friday projects will be done somewhere else. I'm for thinking. See, every little swirl leaves a different mark behind. You know, I purposely mixed those two colors. I didn't. If you want the same color to be on the outside and a different color to be on the inside, you have to completely hold the brush and swirl it in one direction. You see how often I'm going back into that water. Adding a little more lemon yellow to that. How cool. You know, it's not like rocket science, but it's just kind of fun to play with, and I tell you, I've enjoyed it. So try to get yourself to this spot for our April 1st, August 1st. God, just because it starts with an A. June, July, January, I can't keep it all straight. Not unusual. So here I'm just kind of playing and seeing if I'm layering colors, what I can do with layering. I mean, why not? These do not have to be perfect circles. They don't have to be perfect anything. Just play with it. Have fun. Use colors that work well together. See, like if I put that green or that red over that green, it's going to make brown. I knew that going in. So here's where we want to practice our colors too. You know? All that good stuff that we learned, if we're taking our opposites on the color wheel, we're going to make brown. But brown is a good thing. Mud is not. Big difference. Okay, well that catches me up to where I was at here. And that one got a little mushy. A lot of color on this brag. Anyways, this doesn't have to be perfect. This is our practice. But we'll also make cool things out of it. So don't worry. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.